What's in a name? That old cliche has come to occupy our political headlines as the BJP and the opposition quarrel it out over the names of their respective alliances. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo story. We are looking today at that political face-off between the joint opposition meet in Karnataka and the NDA meet in the capital. Now, the NDA says that NDA stands for a new India. The opposition says that its conglomerate actually stands for India. You have the Chief Minister of Assam hitting back and saying that this will now be an India versus Bharat battle. Is there an inordinate amount of time being spent on what these alliances will be called? Does it really matter? Political communication, of course, is key. But is it the core issue? Why is there so much fuss over what the name of these respective alliances is? Does it not all still boil down to Modi versus the rest? Let's introduce our guests on the program today as we look at the swirling politics in this election season. Joining us is Dilip Cherian. Mr. Cherian, of course, is one of India's foremost brand consultants and image gurus. Good to see you, Dilip. Also joining us on the program today is Rachit, Seth, formerly associated with the Congress Party, today the founder of Policy Briefcase. It's good to see you, Rachit. Also joining us is Yashwant, Deshmukh, one of India's best Psephologist, our favorite political pundit back in the house. Also joining us is veteran journalist and commentator Rahul. Always a pleasure to have you with us, Rahul ji. And finally, joining us, the leader of the Swadeshi Jagran Manch, Professor Ashwani Mahajan. Namaskar, Ashwani ji. Always good to see you as well. Let me actually start with playing out for you what the Prime Minister has said about the coming together of the opposition. He didn't choose to say much about the name, as it were, of this alliance, the opposition calling itself India, I.N.D.I.A. But the Prime Minister had this to say right after the NDA meeting in the capital. Listen.
जनता ये भी जान रही है कि वो कौन सा ग्लू है, गोंद है जो इन लोगों को, इन पार्टियों को जोड़ रहा है। किस तरह छोटे छोटे स्वार्थ के लिए मूल्यों और सिद्धांतों से समझौता किया जा रहा है। लोग देख रहे हैं कि केरल में लेफ्ट और कांग्रेस एक दूसरे के खून के प्यासे हैं, लेकिन बेंगलुरु में दोनों पार्टियों के नेता हाथ में हाथ डालकर मुस्कुरा रहे हैं। लोग देख रहे हैं कि बंगाल में लेफ्ट और कांग्रेस के नेताओं पर, उनके कार्यकर्ताओं पर टीएमसी हमले कर रही है, लेकिन इनके नेता टीएमसी के खिलाफ कुछ भी बोलने से बच रहे हैं। इसलिए देश के लोग कह रहे हैं कि गलबहियां मिशन नहीं है, मजबूरियां है।
Let me get the discussion started with actually Dilip, because Dilip, you are in the business of branding. Now, when you look at the new India versus Bharat framing that the BJP is doing, or the Chakte India framing that the opposition is doing, do you think any of this actually matters? Do you think this is just the BJP and the opposition having a little bit of rhetorical fun, or do you think it actually matters?
I think when battles start, they begin small. But I think in terms of branding, my many years of experience both in political branding as well as in corporate branding has taught me that there are basically 4 I's as far as branding is concerned. And the division is 20% for impact, 30% for intent, 30% for the integrity of the brand, and 20% for the interplay effect. So if you look at the I.N.D.I.A. brand, the impact quotient is very high. I would say that what I call the mnemonicness of India is extremely high. So they score high. In terms of intent, we need to take what the Prime Minister is speaking about seriously and look as to and figure out, do they have an intent beyond just trying to get together to be one opposition? In terms of integrity, what will they represent? What will people see them as is the question. And the last 20%, which again I give them high marks on, is that in terms of interplay value, their brand has a very high interplay value, because just as you said, the Chief Minister of Assam said Bharat and things, Mamta, within seconds of the name being announced, had already usurped the Bharat tag for this. So if you look at the millennial voter, if you look at the young voter, they see this brand as powerful. And there lies the rub. So to begin with, cheap shot, but great opening shot, and it works.
Cheap shot, but great opening shot is an interesting description. I want to take this to Professor Ashwani Mahajan, but I'm told, I'm not sure that he can actually hear us. Ashwani ji, are you able to hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Great. Ashwani ji, let me ask you to respond to what Dilip Cherian has said. Cheap shot, but opening shot acha hai. It's given the opposition a chance to say "Chak de India." It's given the opposition a chance to say "Bhai, hum hai India." And it's given them a chance to actually take a little bit of the nationalism space that the BJP has often owned politically, at least. How would you respond, sir, to these alliance names?
I uh, I don't agree with Dilip. Sorry, Dilip. The reason is that he himself has said that the kind of uh, perception the people have got about them. Uh, Most of them are family-based organizations, and then they don't have any common agenda except the fact that they are against a particular party and a person, and therefore this kind of thing actually would benefit uh, the the NDA, for the reason that they already have built up a brand Modi, and uh, and that will uh, that will in a way nullify all these efforts on the part of this, and the very name India, and then you see there are several achievements of the present government which it will be very difficult for them to really counter. For instance, a few days ago, a report has come from UNDP, and this report says that unprecedentedly the poverty has come down. You see, these are the numbers which have been given by UNDP. That is one thing. On the ground, if you see, 3 crore houses built, 11 crore toilets built, about 10 crore Ujjwala gas connections given, and several of such things. So, about 45 crore accounts open, direct benefit transfers, and a kind of labharthi, the beneficiary approach of the present dispensation has actually led to a brand which it will be very difficult for the
I think you
opposition to really
I
play.
think you make a very interesting point that the opposition is going up against an existing brand, which is a very strong brand. And also, just to put that figure, the UNDP report that Professor Mahajan mentioned says that 415 million Indians came out of multidimensional poverty in the last 15 years. So I just wanted to put that out in the public domain. A lot of the government's own programs also have the word India, Startup India, for example. How does the opposition co-opt this phrase? Has it been too clever by half? ये भी एक चीज होती है कि आप इतने clever हो जाए कि आप थोड़े contrived ना हो जाए. Yashwant, let me bring you in. Is it too clever by half or is it smart?
It's smart, interesting, and too clever by half, all in one go. I was aptly listening to Dilip. He is not just a friend but also a guru to me as well. I mean, I always learn when he speaks something. And yes, he is so correct as far as the impact factor is concerned. But I guess that the next two one, with the integrity and the intention of that thing, this is where probably the prime minister is going to take the fight into. And I think he started it yesterday itself by addressing it. One interesting thing which I find is that the name tag and all said and done, yesterday, more than the name, I was struck into the bite of Sitaram Yechuri, actually. And the contradictions, this is where the intent and the impact kind of thing which come out, that when I could understand Kerala, Barkha. Kerala is always like that. It is SEPM versus the left. But I was kind of taken aback by his comment on West Bengal, that it is going to be a triangular contest with Congress and left into one versus TMC versus the BJP. Now, these inherent contradictions will be hard to explain, not just to the voters as such, but also in terms of branding and also some legal aspects of it. For example, I was wondering yesterday, the particular legal aspect of pre-poll alliances taken in as a one single party as far as staking the claim is concerned. Now, pre-poll alliances who are contesting against each other, how on the I might be going a bit too far, but 2004 was very much on my mind when we figured out that okay, BJP was 6 or 7 seats short of the Congress, and the UPA numbers were more than the NDA numbers, and like that. So how does those kind of things play out, not just in the campaign but also on the legal terms? So all in all, I think yes, nomenclature wise, interesting, brilliant name, no doubt. It is going to create even problem for people like you and me, Barkha, because when we will be doing the polls and giving the numbers, nobody likes to use the country's name, that okay, India is going down. Nobody likes to say that, or Bharat is going down.
I had to correct a graphic on the show yesterday because I wrote India some number, and then I had to put the I dot N dot D dot because it's so confusing.
So right? I was kind of discussing this with my colleagues, and one of the colleagues actually suggested that it is better to write out as the Indie Alliance in our numbers or whatever, because regardless of India versus Bharat, this tagging and everything, nobody likes to say that India is going down or Bharat is going down. For us, it is the same, and both will go up as far as the democratic contest is concerned.
We're in for an interesting time. Before I come to Rahul ji, I want to play out also what the JDU is saying. This is important because it is reported, it is believed that when this charcha was happening, ki naam kya rakha jaye, Nitish Kumar was not convinced. And Nitish Kumar said ki logon ko grassroots mein nahi samajh aayega. Now, officially, the party has come out and denied this, but the reports persist. The reports persist that not everybody was convinced of the traction of the translatability into different regional languages. Listen in to Lalan Singh responding to reports that Nitish Kumar is unhappy.
ये सब जो इस देश के आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी हैं, उनके नियंत्रण में जो मीडिया है उसका दुष्प्रचार है। कई तरह के दुष्प्रचार होते रहते हैं। अफवाह फैलाने में बड़का झूठा पार्टी का साथ इस देश की गोदी मीडिया भी दे रही है।
सच्चाई क्या है? मोदी ने सबसे पहले
सच्चाई क्या है? पहले पूरी बात मेरी सुन लीजिए ना, कि आप ही का बतवा हम डिक्टेशन आपका हम सुनिए।
नहीं सर, बोलिए, आप बोलिए।
और कई तरह के दुष्प्रचार हुए हैं पिछले कई दिनों में। कभी हुआ कि जनता दल यू का आरजेडी का विलय होगा, यह दुष्प्रचार गोदी मीडिया ने चलाया। फिर हुआ कि जनता दल यू में आरजेडी में खटपट है, ये दुष्प्रचार गोदी मीडिया ने चलाया। और अब चला रहा है नीतीश कुमार जी नाराज हैं। काहे का नीतीश कुमार जी नाराज होंगे? नीतीश कुमार जी विपक्षी एकता के सूत्रधार हैं, और सूत्रधार कभी नाराज नहीं होता। इंडिया सबों की सहमति से नाम तय हुआ है। सुशील मोदी जी अपने छपास रोग से ग्रस्त हैं, उनको रहने दीजिए।
नीतीश कुमार सूत्रधार है। मुझे तो सबसे जो इंटरेस्टिंग बात उस स्टेटमेंट में लगी, अपार्ट फ्रॉम द डिनायल, वो इस एकता के सूत्रधार है, वो नाराज कैसे हो सकते हैं? वेल, वी वोंट नो फॉर श्योर व्हाट हैपेंड बिहाइंड क्लोज्ड डोर्स, बट राहुल, द फैक्ट इज दैट there's so much focus on the name that we're actually not focusing on the contradictions, which I think all of our speakers have pointed to. How do you read the opposition's move so far, and how do you read also the BJP's counter move to revive an NDA that it hasn't really needed? The fact is the Modi factor has been enough. the BJP has believed that the Prime Minister is bigger than the party. The Prime Minister is more popular than the party. How do you read what's happening, Rahulji?
First of all, I think India for an alliance is a brilliant name.
Okay.
Any name would have been controversial, and any name would have been ridiculed by the opposition party, meaning
the people opposed to the opposition. Yes,
absolutely.
The ruling party.
Now, how many people in the villages really understand NDA? So, right, the same logic cuts both ways. But India, I would call it a brilliant name, a brilliant opening. It's liable to be misused, but it will be difficult for BJP to go too much into it because it has named most of its schemes. Modi ji himself loves the name India, and he uses it more than he uses Bharat. All his schemes, almost 90% are named India, not Bharat. And this point has been raised many times. So he will have to do some explaining. How is India bad or any less important than Bharat? Secondly, the contradictions everyone knows. There's nothing new in it. Everyone also knows that for 2024, opposition had to get together. Otherwise, they stand to be annihilated in many places. So they had to come together. They had to form an alliance. They had to name it somehow, something. And the contradictions of this is just an opening gambit. I'm sure they are going to meet again and again. And these small little statements from whether RJD or JDU, they mean little in the ultimate analysis. We'll forget them in 2 days flat. Of course, Nitish Kumar has been a prime mover. Mamata has been a prime mover of opposition unity. Several others have contributed to this. So I don't think anyone is trying to take away all the credit for himself or herself. So these are small issues. The big issue.
You believe it's been a clever start.
It's a very good name.
Okay,
it's very good name.
I am confused, which I would like to ask Rachit, how if India is, as Rahul Dev says, in so many government schemes, won't it create confusion on owning it politically, Rachit? Rachit, can you hear us? Okay, I don't think Rachit can hear us. So let me take that question. Let me take that question to Dilip.
Basically, see, I agree with that they have named all their government schemes India. But sorry, can you hear me?
Rachit, we'll ask you to reconnect because the line is very, very weak. Let me take the same question to Dilip. Dilip, is it possible with a name like India to politically own it? I think that's the question, right?
Difficult. In fact, it is quite difficult to own the name India because India is far larger than any political coalition of any kind can. But as an acronym, it works well. In fact, I think that the only other acronym in recent times which caught the public attention and sounded very useful politically as a tool is AAP, standing for R. So that was a clever, genius move. So this ranks in that kind of move. Clever, but as I said, it needs to have the in terms of impact and interplay, scoring very high. But in terms of integrity of the brand and the intent of the brand, lots to be proven still. So of the 4 I's in branding, 2 I's it definitely has. Is that enough to see with? And is that something that will result in something significant? Only the test of the ballot box will tell us. But in terms of impacting the narrative around, taking charge of the narrative has its advantages, and always taking charge ensures that somebody else has to follow.
Let me bring in Professor Ashwani Mahajan now. Professor Ashwani Mahajan, if the opposition's integrity is in doubt, and Dilip Cherian clearly says that there is the product integrity is yet to be sort of proven, and that needs more than just a clever name. Why did the BJP feel the need to organize its own show of strength on the same day? Why is the NDA even relevant to the brand which you pointed out is a strong brand that already exists, which is the brand of the Prime Minister? Ashwani ji.
I think BJP has always been very positive towards their partners. And if you see in the history, despite it was very clear that Akali Dal, there were problems in Punjab. There were several issues, but still they continue with Akali Dal for long. And the alliance was broken only uh, at the behest of the Akali Dal only, not because of the BJP. Similarly, if you see other alliances also, BJP has always been honoring alliances, whereas in this opposition get together, we see these alliances are basically the kind of opportunist kind of alliances where they don't have any common agenda. For example, if you see, you call democracy, Congress and left both are against TMC on the very issue of democratic agenda. Now, if you see, and if you say that these many number of opposition parties, they are joining hands and they have so much of votes. This party has got this much percentage of vote. This party this. I always say this, that politics though is not my my cup of tea, but I always say that politics is never mathematics. You can't add up numbers and say that this alliance will win or this alliance will not win. So therefore, I think more of opportunist approach. I'm sorry to say this, but more of the opportunist kind of approach is there, because many political parties are joining hands, which are not seeing eye to eye to each. I can't hear you.
I agree with you in principle, Ashwini ji, but the same criticism could be made of the BJP today, given what's happening in Maharashtra, Yashwant. And I want to take that to you. You've been in a way saying the BJP needs to be careful in taking into the party fold or in taking into its alliance fold individuals and entities that it has been criticizing. You've done interesting poll work in both Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. What Ashwini ji says is correct. This is seen to be an opportunist gathering. The point is, the BJP, which once would have self-identified as a party with a difference, today is doing something similar, many people would argue, in Maharashtra.
Absolutely. I mean, and the Maharashtra steps have not really gone down very well with their own support base. Our snap poll over there has clearly shown almost half of the BJP support base has kind of not approved it in that way. But somehow, at the end of the day, when the Lok Sabha elections happen, their supporters are going to vote for brand Modi, if I may say so. कि पी लेंगे, सह लेंगे, कर लेंगे वाले अंदाज में, but yes, Karnataka was another play where the imports did not really work well, and Madhya Pradesh, they are facing huge problems. By the way, we have discussed that. So yeah, I mean, those kind of situations, those kind of things are going to have an impact. I think targeting the opposition alliance as something like dishonest or corrupt or something like opportunistic in terms. I think BJP used these kind of campaign works to target opposition brilliantly earlier, but their own actions in the recent past has kind of taken that swag away on these particular points. Still, as far as branding is concerned, I believe the biggest political brand in India at this point of time remains Modi, and BJP would like to bulldoze every other counter or narrative, with that kind of a road roller. That's what they should do ideally, and they would be doing that. Rest of everything is kind of immaterial.
Yeah.
I don't think people are way too interested now in terms of opportunistic or not. I mean, those kind of party with the difference kind of a thing, I don't think that halo is there anymore. That is kind of diluted.
Yeah. Let me bring Rahul in. What is the biggest challenge then, Rahul Dev, for the opposition at this point?
First is to seat sharing. And I'm sure it is going to take place state by state. It cannot happen at the national level. So the biggest hurdle in any such alliance is seat sharing. How many seats for whom? And as everyone has pointed out, so I don't need to repeat the problems in complications in West Bengal, in several other places. Kerala, for example. So we all know them. So now the opposition, this new alliance has to show its seriousness, its commitment to unity, and its ability to sacrifice some of their own seats and some of their own benefits for the collective benefit. If they are able to show this maturity and are also able to create a collective narrative, which has the narrative at least should not have contradictions. You can have state level contradictions, ground level contradictions. Everyone knows them, but they must have a unifying narrative which is powerful, which appeals to the people. It addresses their concerns, and concerns have been growing in the country for the past several, I would say, recent past. As Yashwant has already pointed out, the party with a difference is gone. It is now a party out to win at any cost. Political morality be damned. So that moral superiority or edge, moral edge is gone.
But the challenge for the opposition will be, as I think has already been said by everybody, to present a narrative that is beyond we are anti-Modi. We are united by being anti-Modi. You need a positive narrative to take to the people. What is that narrative, right? Rachit, I'm very much hoping you can hear us and we can hear you. Let's try and bring you in. Go ahead, Rachit. Can't hear you, Rachit. Okay, so let's go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, the narrative which everybody spoke was indicative in the statement which was released yesterday, the joint statement. The joint statement spoke about, we will protect the rights of everyone, including minorities and Kashmiri Pandits, Dalits, OBCs, SC, STs, everybody. Then the narrative also spoke about caste census. So you must remember, Barkha, this entire thing began from Nitish Kumar first going to meet Khargeji, the Congress president at that point of time. And then a wider discussion took place. So, and both the parties who are ruling Bihar right now, Tejaswi and Nitish Kumar, they have been demanding, caste census. In fact, they had to have a caste survey separately. So this entire Mandal thing, which is coming up again, in terms of the narrative building, is one such thing which they want to observe apart from the nomenclature, the nationalism, India. That is one thing. The other thing is about how to reach out to the weaker sections. And since you were talking about schemes, and I couldn't reply at that point of time, one of the biggest scheme of UPA, if somebody remembers, it was Bharat Nirman. It was named Bharat, not India. And as Dilip Cherian ji had mentioned, that Mamta ji first said, India, that is Bharat, while she was announcing or maybe re-announcing the name of the alliance. It made it clear that, that we, because there was some internal discussion about what would be it called in Hindi, okay,
right,
or in any other language. So that way, that answers the question about normal.
I want to just bring in, we're getting, it's a developing story, but we're getting information that that a complaint has been filed against this alliance name. And I will not be surprised if somebody cites the emblem code or something to say a political alliance can't be called India. I just want anyone's thoughts on that. Okay. Yes, the complainant has said that the emblem code has been violated. Dilip, do you see this running into legal troubles before we close? Yeah, Dilip, Cherian, can we? Yeah, go ahead, Dilip.
Yeah, I think that, mnemonics of this kind don't get covered under any code. So it's not something you're registering. So that's not a problem. Yes, it's a point in time to create a disturbance in the narrative, but that's about it.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there. We're out of time. Thanking all of you very much. The game has just begun. As they say in tennis, game on. The election season is here. Naam kya hai is just one element of the story, but it's the beginning of the story, and it's an interesting beginning. Makes for interesting political debate, certainly. To Rahul Dev, Professor Mahajan, Dilip Cherian, Yashwant, Deshmukh, and Rachit Seth. Thank you so much, and to our audience, we'll see you tomorrow as usual. Thank you for watching. Take care. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.